Okay, so we're going to be starting out here. We only have a couple players. My name is Sergito. I'm going to be running a playtest here for the L5R beta rules. Since we only have the two players, I'm not going to run the pre-written adventure. We're just going to cycle through a couple of combats, just kind of stress test the rules and that sort of thing. So we have a couple players here. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Aislinn.
It's Flying Jackalope.
All right. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a couple of characters. It shouldn't be very difficult at all. It seems like it's a very simple process. So it shouldn't take that long for us to go ahead and create these characters. So we're going to go ahead and do that right here at the beginning of our stream here. Pulling up my documents now. Got to grab my character sheet. Okay, there we go. All right, so the first thing we do is there's a 20 questions form. It basically runs you right through everything you'll need for creating a character, and helps you create not only the stats for the character, but also like the personality for the character. First question on that sheet is your core identity. The question asks you, what clan does your character belong to? I am going to make a lion character because duh.
I'm shocked by that revelation. Shocked.
Aren't you, though? Now, in the rulebook, the character creation is actually designed out in the same exact fashion. So, the very first part of character creation is that core identity, where you pick your clan and your family. And it gives you all the things you get as part of choosing that clan and family. First thing I'm choosing, obviously, is the Lion Clan. We just talked about that. And Flying Jackalope, what did you say you're making?
I'm going to make a Phoenix character. So my clan is Phoenix.
Okay, and I believe that Aislinn, you're going to do a crab, right?
Very surprisingly, yes, I will be making a crab. Totally going out of character here.
Right, so for the Lion Clan, you get a ring increase. We just actually counted this earlier, so I want to mention it. All rings start at 1 on your character. So as you go through the character, you will actually get increases on those. But at the very beginning, all rings are at a 1, and all skills are at 0. For the Lion Clan, my ring increase is water, and a skill increase is tactics. So I get +1 on both of those. And then my status starts out at 35.
Trying really hard here not to make a joke about cats and water.
Well, traditionally, the water element is the element of like perception and basically battle. So that's why water was always the Lion Clan element. All right, so that means my water is now a 2. And my tactics is now a 1. And then the second thing you have to do is choose a family. This probably will also come as no surprise, but I am going to pick an Akodo. Because Akodos are best.
This thing is Akodo. Oh wait, that's another reality. Never mind.
Yes. They are not
Never
the shadow.
played this game too long.
Alright, so their ring increase is Earth. And their skill increase is Command and Government. You get 2 skill increases for your family. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and increase these real quick. Earth goes to 2. Command goes to 1. And Government also goes to 1. And then also, the other thing you get with your family is your glory. My glory for my family is 44.
Ooh.
Very nice.
So if I could do this a little bit faster so that people aren't bored.
While you're doing that, then I'll go ahead and start talking about my character.
There you go.
So I said I was going to pick the Phoenix, which means I get an increase of +1 for my Void Ring, and I get a +1 for Theology. my
It's because they like to do that whole, introspection thing.
Yeah.
They sit around examining their navels all day long. Or is that the dragon? More appropriately.
Examining, I think, would be the dragon.
Yeah.
And I am going to be of the Shiva family, which would increase my water ring by 1 and give me courtesy and tactics +1. I get 30 status for being a phoenix and 40 glory for being a Shiva.
Ooh, Sheba. Going for the warrior?
Yep.
All right. As I said, I was going for the Crab Clan. Anybody who knows them will not be surprised that their bonus is to Earth, and they get the skill increase of Fitness, because Crab Clan are basically the big brutes of the Empire. Status of 30. Not sure precisely what that number means yet, but
It's out of 100. I should probably mention that. Yeah, they did change that from the original L5R, where you had up to 10 ranks of honor, glory, and status, and then in between, you'd have to get 10 boxes before you get up to your next rank. They just simplified that and made it this flat 100.
Yeah, it looks like most of the people starting at 30 to 35. Oh my god, the Scorpion Clan have 35. Yeah, matched by the Scorpion.
Not just you, so did the Phoenix, apparently.
I need to write a strongly worded letter to Fantasy Flight. This cannot stand.
How dare you? We protect the Empire from the realm of the Shadowlands.
That's right, damn it. I'm going slightly off script by going for Haruma. They're, the Hida family is the real stereotypical crab. They're the just solid, hit us as much as you need to. We don't care. We're just going to bash you into the ground anyways. Haruma are a little more sneaky. They're the scouts of the clan. So with that, I get a +1 of air, and my skills will be that I get are skullduggery and survival, and a glory of 39, which looks like middle of the road ish.
Not too bad, yeah.
As far as I can tell.
Really,
it looks like everybody's around in that 30 to 40 range for a glory. Yeah.
Anybody got a definition of skullduggery?
Skullduggery, that'd be sort of like, what's the word I can say? It'd be comparable to things like sneaking around, anything that's less than above board, I guess you could say. Underhanded.
Yeah.
It's Scorpion.
I think it's basically a sort of if in D&D terms you're talking about your move silently and hide in shadows roll.
Yeah.
Rolls.
Stealth, sleight of hand.
Yeah, like I said, the Haruma are really the scouts of the Crab Clan, so they're the ones that go out into the Shadowlands and try not to get seen, as opposed to the Hida who just go out to the Shadowlands and hit everything they can find. As hard as they possibly can, and as often as they can.
Yep. Sounds good.
Don't get me wrong, I love my Hida, but they are a straightforward bunch.
Alright, so the next thing we need to do after family and character is roll and school. Pretty sure we're all making Bushi. There would be, I would assume, 3 rolls, or there might be more. Actually, I know 4 at least already. There would be Bushi, Shugenja, Monk, and Courtier.
Right.
So there may be more than that. They might end up coming up with like a ninja roll or something else, but as of right now, those are the only 4 that I saw in the book.
Well, ninja is, they do have ninja for the Scorpion.
They do have it in there. I missed that. All right. So then, yes, they already have 5 of them then. They may come up with more. And then...
Ninja roll, yeah.
My school that I'm choosing is the Akodo Tactical School, because I'm making things easy, and, well, I like the Akodo Tactical School. My school gives me a bonus in Earth, and a bonus in Water, And then one thing I've noticed with the schools is instead of giving you like a flat, you get all these schools, they give you a list of schools or of skills, not schools. They give you a list of skills you can choose from, and then you can go through those and pick any 3 to 5. Some schools I noticed for some reason only give 3 skills, but most of them I saw give 5. So in my case, mine lets me choose 5, so I choose those. I chose fitness, martial arts melee, meditation, command, and courtesy. And then it also tells you what types of techniques you have available to you. Bushi, for the most part, are going to get kata. Courtiers, for the most part, are going to get shuji. Then shugenja are going to get things like rituals and stuff like that. Some of those may kind of go back and forth between the two areas. Like, for example, my Akodo school gives me access to kata, shuji, and rituals.
The heated defender gets access to Shuji.
That is funny.
Crowd diplomacy usually involves hitting things until they shut up. Can't disagree if you're unconscious.
And then I also get a starting honor of 50. Because I am crab. Or I am lion. Darn.
Nice to be a lion.
Alright, I am also making the Bushi, of course, and I chose the Shiba Guardian School. And that gives me a bonus to my water and earth. Also, for my skill increases, I can choose from courtesy, fitness, martial arts melee, meditation, survival, tactics, and theology. And I went with martial arts melee, courtesy, fitness, survival, and meditation. Available to me are kata, shuji, and rituals, and my starting techniques. Kata, I chose striking as water. I can also choose from striking as earth, and I get Lord Shiva's selflessness. I get an honor of 45, and my school ability is the Way of the Phoenix.
Okay. I should probably mention that my kata are also striking as earth and striking as water, and I chose striking as water. My shuji is a Lord Akodo's Roar. My school technique is Way of the Lion. And then it also does list your starting outfit, which in this case, since we're just doing some combats, it doesn't really matter, but you probably would want to write that down if you were actually doing it.
I am going, as the crab only get we mentioned this earlier, the options are a little limited. I think it was off recording that I mentioned this. This is not a complete list of what's going to show up eventually. This is just their getting you running beta list. The crab get the option between a Bushi and a Shugenja. I am making a Bushi. That is the Hida Defender School, increasing rings by 1 each in earth and water. I get to choose 5 from skills from fitness, martial arts melee, martial arts ranged, martial arts unarmed. We're a focused bunch. +1 meditation, survival, and tactics. I have chosen martial arts melee, martial arts ranged, survival, fitness, and meditation. The Hida Defender School gets access to kata, rituals, and shuji. We are apparently the courtiers in this beta test. Should be entertaining. Starting technique of the kata of Lord Hida's Grip, and the choice between striking as earth and striking as water. Going with the theme, I will continue with striking as earth.
Okay.
I don't know what that does yet, but I'm sure it'll be entertaining.
Yep. I can tell you right now that striking as earth does give you a bonus to defense.
Woohoo! I'm shocked.
Right?
Crab get 40 honor, and our technique is Way of the Crab, which basically means you can bury us in armor and we don't slow down. We're dwarves. I just realized that. We're the dwarves of L5R.
Pretty much, yes. Mm-hmm.
Dwarf and
You are
giants. You guys,
exactly
the crab
right.
are the biggest
This is true. And the ones who wear the least shirts. 20 years of L5R have taught me this. If you want them shirtless, go shirtless, you play crab.
Okay, so now we're on to our next part, which is question number 5, I believe, right? Did I miss one? No, 4. How does your character stand out within their school?
There we go.
So you have a couple of options. Creativity, passion, or drive would be the fire ring. Grace, eloquence, or empathy, that would be your air ring. Adaptability, friendliness, or awareness, that would be your water ring. Thoroughness, patience, or calm, that would be your earth ring. Self-awareness, insight, or mysticism, that would be your void ring.
Ooh, that's actually a really interesting. I hadn't actually gotten to that yet. That is really interesting. I like the way they did that.
So like I was saying
It's
before, it not only gives you stats, but it also helps you like decide on your character's like motivations and attitudes.
That's actually really, really cool.
It's worth noting that as a starting character, you can't get more than 3 per
Yes.
ring. So if you get to this point and you already have a 3, like in my case, I already have a 3 in water, you know, I can't go with adaptability, friendliness, or awareness. I'd have to go with something else.
So you're saying I should not be neither thorough, patient, nor calm?
Not if you already have a 3 in earth. I already have a 3 in earth and water, so my character is going to be creative, passionate, and driven,
There we go.
or one of the
I like
one of
the
the
idea of the Shiruma Scout as the guy who really knows the things maybe he shouldn't know. So I'm going for self-awareness, insight, or mysticism.
Nice.
He seems to be he's the guy who's done maybe for his particular station a little more research into the Shadowlands than maybe you would have expected. So because he wants to know what he's up against,
Right.
and then I have to rely on others.
He spent
Well,
too
he's-
much time in the Shadowlands with his own thoughts, so...
Yeah, that's actually I had the thought that actually dovetails really nicely. I had the thought that that's his meditation skill is basically he's the guy who enjoys the lead up to the calm before the battle. You know, he's always the guy who's just kind of just sitting there, and then when the battle starts, that's when he goes. You know.
You know, now that we get to the next question, I realize you're right. There is 5 character types because they list them right here. Because the question is, what is your character's duty to their lord? And each role would have different options. For example, Bushi characters could be bodyguards, regular guards, soldiers, magistrates, etc. And it lists options for each of the 5 types: Bushi, courtier, Shugenja, monk, and ninja. So in this case, since we're going to be running combats, it doesn't really matter that much what we choose in terms of our role. At this point, you would probably want to decide who's going to be in charge of the character, whether it be a magistrate, like you might be under the auspices of a magistrate, you might be working directly for a daimyo or something like that. That would be something you'd want to probably discover and figure out right there. Now, the next part is the one that gets a little bit strange. This is very new. It's
Really quick?
choosing what's called your giri.
Really quick?
Yeah.
Give me a second. I took self-awareness, insight, mysticism, plus 1 void ring.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that. Didn't realize we missed you.
No problem.
But there are actually going to be drives for each character. There's 2 of them. One is called Giri, and one is called Ninjo. The Giri, basically, you should be able to answer certain questions when you're considering these different things. Is your Giri something you want to see your character pursue or contend with during the story? Do you want your character to make progress toward completing this no matter where the campaign takes him, your character? Is the Giri likely to conflict with your Ninjo? So basically your Giri is kind of like your personal feelings. And then your Ninjo is the other drive, and it's more an overall accomplishment that you want to make. So the examples that I saw when I was looking through this before were things like the Giri would be things like sorry, totally spaced out on that there. It's what oh yeah, like personal goals. Like you want to be a general one day or something like that, and then the ninja would be something that's more external. If that makes a little bit more sense. So like you want to see. I'm trying to think of a way to explain this. I can't think of a way to explain it. We'll probably get better and more into it later, but
Well, they've actually got a good bit here that could help. Another way to look at ninjo is to ask yourself what goal might tempt the character to disobey their lord or do dishonorable things in their attempts to achieve or protect it.
Okay.
So your giri is basically what your lord expects of you. So you're a bodyguard, you're a scout, you're a general. Your ninja is your kind of more personal.
Oh, I had them backwards. Sorry, yeah, you're right. The giri is like your overall, kind of what you're expected to do, and the ninja is your personal feelings. I had them backwards. You're right. Okay.
Yep, no problem.
All right. So yes,
they run together. I was mentioning this before. It's sort of the problem sometimes with these 2-column layouts. They can very easily get jumbled together.
Yeah, definitely. So again, at this point, those aren't really something we need to deal with since we're going to be running combats. But they are important because, as you probably know, there's going to be those dice that are changing, and the ninja and the giri are not only like goals and things to kind of inform how you run your character, but they're also going to come in play with the strife and things that come from the symbols on the dice. So those will definitely come in very importantly later. So then, since we're going to just skip over those for right now, we'll go directly to step 7, which is what is your character's opinion of their clan? And you've got a couple of choices to either believe in the clan or disagree with the clan's beliefs, policies, and practices. And then, I'm gonna. My guy is definitely Gung Ho Clan. So the choice with that one is he gets plus 5 glory. And then if you choose not to agree, there's actually different things that you get based on which clan you are. So for example, if me being Lion Clan, if I chose not to be beholden to my clan's ideals, then I would take a rank of skullduggery. But I'm not doing that, so instead I get 5 points of glory, which takes me to 49.
Yeah, I feel like, well, again, since we're mostly doing combat, I just wanted to go with what would be easiest. So I went ahead with the same thing. My opinion of the clan is that they're the greatest, so my glory goes up by 5. If I didn't go with that, I would have gotten, give me a sec. For a Lion Clan, I could have taken an increase for tactics.
Yep. Because Phoenix are normally, that's what I'm looking for. Wow. My brain is
Pansies? Pacifists?
Yes,
no,
pacifists.
Sorry,
there you go.
Crane or pansies? Sorry.
Phoenix are pacifists.
Phoenix, Crane, it's hard to tell the difference.
One's red, one's blue. So anyway, moving on to our crab. Are you going to be Gung Ho Crab?
I'm going to go Gung Ho Crab.
So you're not going to take a rank in aesthetics or design and go all artsy?
I do find that interesting that's what they give them. I like this because, like you said, basically, if you believe that your clan is doing it right and that's the right way that a samurai should live, you basically get more glory. If you kind of buck the system, you learn something.
You learn something, but you learn something that's
odd.
Counter to what you would normally use with your
It's kind of contrary to what they're normally perceived as. The Crab Clan get aesthetics and design.
Crane get commerce, Dragon Clan gets
I like the Unicorn Clan gets culture.
Yeah. I don't like that the Crane Clan gets commerce, though, because that mean...
No, I know, right?
They're traders. That's what they're known for. That's why the clan as a whole is rich. So that one doesn't make as much sense, but the rest of them do. I mean, the Dragon Clan are in the mountains, so they get seafaring. Makes complete sense. Scorpion Clan is more about telling lies and mistruths, and they get labor.
Clearly, they learned how to sail from all of the boats that the Mantis left behind when the Mantis made the dragon.
So yeah,
Story
most of them make
decision
sense.
L5R
Crane, I don't like that one. That one doesn't make sense to me. All right. So then next step 8. What does your character think of Bushido? If you believe in it, you get an extra 10 honor. If you do not, you get another skill. I am going to believe in it, so I'll take the honor. So I am very honorable right now with a 60 honor.
Well, we can't have that, can we? I'll go ahead and take honor too.
I'm actually going to go the other way because crab are pragmatists. They're actually, in fact, one of the only clans that teaches their samurai that sometimes you have to run from battle. When it is more important that information gets back to your lord than that everyone in the unit survive or dies gloriously. So I'm going with the I diverge from some or all of the common beliefs how samurai should behave honorably, which gives you basically similarly to the first one, the last one, you get a skill, but it's actually off of a generic list. You basically would gain a rank of either commerce, labor, medicine, seafaring, skullduggery, or survival, and I'm going to go with skullduggery.
All right. I would have figured survival, but skullduggery works. All right. So let's see. Our next step is going to be what is your character's greatest accomplishment so far? Now, this brings us to 2 new things to this game. One is called distinctions, and one is called passions. Distinctions are, again, like it sounds, accomplishments, things that make you distinct from other people, and passions are things that you care about. They are types of advantages and disadvantages. So you're still getting advantages and disadvantages. They're just categorized differently, and they're used differently. One of the things I noticed in the rules is your advantages and disadvantages can be used at any point for anything. Unlike before, where the advantages and disadvantages were very classified. Like you had Benton's Blessing, you got this stat in this particular instance, you're done. You got this bonus on this particular instance, you're done. Now this, it says, it's kind of like, reminds me of using aspects in Fate. You kind of lobby. I think this would possibly work here because of this. And if your GM agrees to it, you can get your bonus on that particular instance. So they work a little differently. There are actually a couple different types of them. You have the distinctions and adversities, or distinctions rather and passions. You're also going to have adversities and anxieties. So distinctions and passions are obviously advantages. Adversities and anxieties are your disadvantages. So I guess we should... That's something I don't like, actually, is advantages and disadvantages are in a different section.
Yeah.
It's page 61.
Yeah, I'm jumping forward here now.
Yeah, I actually opened up the PDF in a second.
All right, here we go. Distinctions. And then the way it's described is you should actually also kind of roll this into your personal story. So your greatest distinction, your greatest accomplishment should be related to whatever distinction you choose. So I'm kind of scrolling through here and looking at some of these. Alright, so I think I'm going to choose famously honest. The description of it is, everyone knows that your word can be taken on its face, even in a world that relies on half-truths and doublespeak to avoid ruffling feathers. That's an air advantage.
I'm going to take blessed lineage. And that's as my distinction.
Okay, and our crab.
I like this idea. I'm going for famously lucky. I like the idea basically that he, as that scout, goes out there and is up against some of the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst, but in the Shadowlands, and yet always seems to come back.
I like that.
Even when sometimes everybody else doesn't, he seems to be the one that can manage to make it back. So sometimes it's better to be, good is good, but sometimes it's better to be lucky.
I agree. All right, let's see here. Now let's look at passions. Let's see.
Okay.
I like armament. I like sake. I'm going to go with armament, I think. That's going to be his passion.
I'm gonna go with tea. Just a really, really
He's different.
calm guy, just drinking his tea.
And Haruma-san?
I'm going to go with Daredevil. I think the fact that he's gone through so much and come out mostly unscathed, it's made him possibly a little cocky and probably a little bit of an adrenaline junkie.
Makes sense.
Again, facing the most evil things that man knows on a daily basis sort of twisted him a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. It's definitely possible. Alright, so I just realized we skipped over the adversities part. That was question number 10. And then question number 12 is the anxieties part. So we'll go ahead and do those next.
Yeah, but I think it's because we were scrolling down through the PDF, and so the beta rules go distinction, passion, adversity, and then adversity because it's twice adversity.
Yeah.
So I think that's how come we skipped it. Instead of going through the questions, we just went down. We just scrolled down on what the actual specific ones were.
Right. Okay, so let's go ahead and do those now. Okay, disadvantages. So my adversity, let's see here.
There we go. Adversity.
Blindness, wow.
Really hate this layout.
Fractured spine?
I could have messed you up, yeah.
Definitely.
Oh man. Check out Momoku.
Cognitive lapses. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow, they have a Shadowland taint for every single one of the rings.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I just got to that. It's crazy.
Whispers of Doom.
Ooh.
Whispers of Failure. Whispers of Poverty. Man, I didn't know this was going to be like a family reunion.
I'm going to choose Whispers of Cruelty because I kind of like it.
Lost arm or hand, lost eye, lost fingers, lost leg, lost memories. That's pretty much, yeah. You just covered just about the whole body right
You're
there.
just lost.
Nice. Maimed arm, nice. Nerve damage. Oh my.
I'll go with haunting, just because I like thinking back on my character from the play-by post, where it just had that one ancestor who was just constantly berating me for no reason.
I thought about it before exactly that. When I saw it, I thought of that character. I was like, I'm going to do that.
How would I play it, by the way?
I think you played it well.
Just constantly like, you're doing it wrong. That's not how you do it. Watch out! Warning! Warning! just annoying the entire time.
You moron.
Oh, okay.
All right, and then for... Oh, wait. So
I like the
you
specific.
just have
I like the
voice
various whispers. Those are nifty. I think I'm going to go with sworn enemy.
Right. So, question 12, I guess, is going to be anxiety. They put adversity. So,
Yeah,
that would
I'm
have
sure
to be
them in anxiety. I'll make sure to put that in my notes to update that. I'm choosing battle trauma.
So wait a minute. The UTS might trigger people, but it's okay to have your players have PTSD?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not lying. I'm still bitter.
While you guys do that, I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break because I just got my dinner, okay? Be right back.
Yep.
Go ahead. I've been hearing it from both sides of the... I guess, well, I've been seeing it everywhere. Some people are like, oh, finally. And others are like, no, this is what brought us together. And I'm like,
Well, it really did. I'm telling you, this is one of the. I get how from the outside it looks silly. I really do. But the L5R player community in the CCG was literally the best CCG player community, bar none. My brother and I went in around 2000, about 17 years ago is when we got started playing, and the local group they didn't know us from Adam yet. We walked in and they made us feel like rock stars, you know. And that was just, I mean, that's just how the community was. Everybody just, you know, like you go to a Magic tournament and it's like a nest of vipers, you know. You got to watch your deck to make sure nobody steals it. Everybody's trying to get one over on you, you know. They'll exploit every little error you make. In an L5R tournament, you know, and I'm not saying we don't have those kind of people, but as a general rule, the culture is, hey, you realize that play isn't a really great one. Do you instead want to do this? You know?
gotcha.
And especially then, like, if you've been playing for 20 years, yeah, you know, maybe I'll tell you afterwards about it so that you can improve your game later on. Because, I mean, a tournament is a tournament. But if you're playing a new player, you're half the time you might end up losing just because you coached them into a win, you know?
Right.
And, you know, I realize, I mean, the chant sounds a little silly, but I mean, it really sort of encapsulated that. And really, especially when you get 100, 200, sometimes 1,000 people up in a Gen Con environment doing that, it gets you pumped up.
No. I totally get that. I understand the whole getting pumped up part. And when I went to college for a bit, I went to UT Austin, and every year, the around semester midterm or like towards the end of the semester,
Right.
for the spring, or no, for the winter, the architecture school would have a foam sword fight on one of the streets.
Okay.
Where, and so like cars are going by, but there's, every once in a while it turns red, so they would charge at each other and just whack each other with these foam swords. Like, great way to relieve stress. That's the way they put it. And it was funny because, at one point, like, I went only the one time, but I mean, people were like you're waiting on the sides of the streets, and people are like clanking their foam swords on the sidewalk, just ga 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 ga, and then people just started shouting random things like "For the Shire,
That's awesome.
ah! For Asgard, ah!" And it's
Mhm.
like it's like anyone walking by who's not into it, yeah, it's like it looks silly. It's like yeah, but we're having a bunch of fun.
That's right.
You're the one who's missing out because you don't want to look silly. Who cares? Just join in the shy. You get pumped up. You just run in there and hit people with these foam swords. They were like the noodle, like pool noodle or whatever. So not like you were hurting anybody. So
Right. Yeah,
yeah, it was.
it's funny. I think a lot of the people that were really lobbying against it were the people that were coming in from some of the other CCGs and LCGs. Because we used to we would get complaints. It was really funny. Like I was at one Gen Con, and the organizer comes up during one of the rounds and says, the organizer just came over to us and said that the Magic players were complaining about the bonsai that we did. So let's see if we can really drive them nuts with the next one.
Oh man, yeah. It sounds like a specific group of people that what is it? I was gonna try and make a Happy Jacks joke. It's like, yeah, loud players disrupting other people's fun. That does not sound familiar at all.
Yeah, really.
Nah, I mean, it's the environment, right? I mean, if you're gonna go to a convention, there's gonna be a lot of noise no matter where you go.
Exactly.
So
And yeah. I mean, I could understand if we were screaming out racist jokes or something, but anybody who takes the 10 seconds it would take to look up what that cheer really means knows that it's actually an affirmation, not a
right,
not hate speech or something.
right,
And
right.
honestly, aside from like one or two seriously hardcore, I'm going to be offended at everything social justice warrior types, nobody was really even making that argument. There was a bunch of people who were just like, we think it's kind of weird that a whole bunch of people playing, flipping cardboard are doing this chant every single round, and a ton more going, yeah, but it's fun. We like it.
Right.
We don't care if you're embarrassed by us.
Right. We're not embarrassed. Why should you be?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was always fun to be like, it's really cringeworthy. I'm like, what? A bunch of people having fun? I'd say that's your problem, not mine.
It's like, I'm not cringing. I don't know why you are. You can walk away. It's no problem, man.
And I'm back. Did you guys take care of your anxieties?
Yep. I picked cynicism.
All right. And the Haruma?
Oh, delusions of grandeur.
It's just all falling into place for you, huh?
It really is.
The next question actually is another one that I thought was very nice. Who has your character learned the most from during life? So you name someone, whether it be like your daimyo, a sensei, parents, whoever it happens to be, and you come up with that person, and then you get one advantage and one disadvantage related to that person, as well as a rank and a skill that your character developed as a result of your closest confidant and relationship with the person.
Awesome.
So that's pretty cool. Like, not only do you get a couple of more advantages and disadvantages, but you also get a connection with someone and a skill. So I'm not going to name my guy, but he's going to be my sensei. He's going to give me a rank in martial arts melee. And then let's see what advantage and disadvantage I'll get.
Well, from what it looks like on the 20 questions worksheet, it has skill increase and a disadvantage or an advantage.
Oh, does it? Okay, let me go back and look here.
Yeah, so
Might
it
have
looks
read it
like it's
wrong.
one advantage related to your character's mentor and the relationship, or one disadvantage related to your character's mentor and the relationship, and one rank in a skill that your character developed as a result of your character's closest confidant and their relationship.
I did miss a part. It does say choose one. So I'm going to go with the disadvantage and the skill. Because disadvantages are fun. Let's see. My other disadvantage. I'm going to go with clumsiness. I'm physically imprecise when dealing with tasks that require notable dexterity. At the GM's discretion, you periodically drop items, make a mess of precise crafting efforts, or slip and fall. Anytime you make a check that requires precise motor skills, you must choose and reroll any 2 dice showing success or critical success results. If you fail that check, you gain a void point. By the way, I should mention that void points work differently in this game than in the original.
Huh.
You don't get a number of void points equal to your void ring. You actually earn void points basically like as you mess up things. So, for example, let's see, my battle trauma gives me a void point.
So it's like potential in PBTA.
Yeah.
You fail, here's some potential.
Very, very similar. Absolutely.
I'm gonna say that it was my my sensei. I'm taking martial arts melee +1 as a skill increase, and my disadvantage is gonna be cognitive lapses. Got hit in the head one too many times, unfortunately.
Adrian!
And our crap?
All right. His is his grandmother, who, when he went through his Genbuku, he was afraid of going on the wall, and she explained to him that fear itself isn't the sin, it's bowing to it. So he basically gained, she taught him to, look inside and overcome his fear, so he's getting a rank in meditation in that.
Very good.
And the disadvantage is whispers of failure. Basically, someone overheard the conversation, and it still kind of follows him.
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. Now, the next question is going to be, what detail do others find most striking about your character? So, this is not, there's nothing mechanical about this one. It's just maybe like an oddity. Maybe you always kind of click your tongue in certain situations or whatever, or you hold your hands in a specific way, or always wear a certain kind of clothing, something like that. Just something more fiction related than it is mechanical. So in our instance, again, we don't really need to do that. And then number 5, how does your character react to stressful situations? This part is important. And the reason it's important is as you've probably looked at the dice, there is something that kind of looks like a cherry blossom leaf. That, when that comes up and you choose to keep that die, you earn 1 point of strife. Once you get too many points of strife, you actually end up getting what's called a personal outburst, and that's how your strife kind of manifests itself. So in this case, with this, what you want to do is use this question to describe something you might do in a specific situation. So the examples it gives is, does your character get loud and abrasive when enraged? Does their voice fall to an icy whisper instead? Do they fall to their knees in prayer when racked with uncertainty? Or respond to everything as if it's a violent threat? Things like that. That'd be the sort of things you want to put there. My character is going to be he gets cruel when he gets upset.
I'm gonna say my guy answers sarcastically. It's like disrespectful, I guess I'm gonna say.
He goes into wise ass mode.
Exactly. You know, it's like
I know nothing about that from personal life. Nothing at all. It has certainly not caused many a complication in my own life.
Then our next question, what are your character's pre-existing relationships with other clans, families, organizations, traditions, etc.? Again, this is another one that's just purely narrative relates. There's no mechanical part of this. You would just want to make note of any of these things, like did you have a fight with the monks of Asano Wo? Do they hate you? Do you like the crane but you can't stand the doji because you had like a interaction with the doji at one point or something like that? That sort of thing.
that one hot
Anyway,
doji blew you off.
Yeah. Did you try to marry
really
a doji and
don't hate the
they married the
doji.
scorpion instead?
Let's see.
The next question is also purely narrative related. How would your character's parents describe them? You would just make a note of your relationship with your parents or any other immediate family members and how they perceive your character and how you perceive them. And then the next one is one that I very much like. That is, who is your character named to honor? So this actually is going to require some die rolls. It's the heritage table returned to us.
Woo!
So let's pop into the Roll20 here. Did you get the link, Aislinn? To the Roll20? It's in the
Discord.
it's in the
hang
Discord screen.
I actually bought the dice app.
I didn't.
I almost did. I was strongly tempted.
I considered it.
It's nice. I mean, I just got it mostly because I wanted to see, I wanted to see the dice in action. I guess it in itself is really good. You just grab them and shake the phone, and it brings them up. And if you explode, you just tap it and click on the exploding part. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
You talked me into it.
Just gotta sign in.
Pull up that journal with the dice conversion chart. There we go. So, what are you gonna want us to roll for this, Ito?
In this case, you're actually going to be rolling 2d10. So go ahead and roll 1d10 first.
Mm-hmm.
And that determines the first on your category, and then inside of that, it'll ask you to roll another d10 for more effects.
Okay.
So you got a 6.
6.
6 is Ruthless Victor. One of your ancestors claimed a bloody victory over a rival, smashing their forces with a cunning maneuver, or seizing their domain after vanquishing them in battle. From this relative or their story, you learned well the importance of brute force. Lose 5 honor.
Yay.
And then roll another d10.
All right. Eight.
8. Okay, so with your 8...
Martial arts unarmed.
Yep. You gain a rank of martial arts unarmed.
Woot.
So I'm going to do mine. I got an 8. Mine is Stolen Knowledge. One of your ancestors learned a secret of another school and clandestinely passed it down through ages. Now it has reached you. Decrease your honor by 5. Well, I don't like that. I was enjoying my 60 honor. Now it's down to 55. Alright, so roll another one.
Just saying, it's always the quiet ones.
Second roll is 1. It's always good. You know, one additional technique. Roll a 10-sided die to determine the category. It is a kata. And then select one technique with a prerequisite of school rank 1 and learn that technique.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might go with Striking as Fire.
Very nice.
Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Striking as Fire.
7. Elevated for service. One of your ancestors was a G samurai or even a commoner who served with a distinction that their position was elevated to that of a great clan samurai by marriage or mandate of a daimyo. As a child, you learned the basics of the skill for which they won their esteem, decrease your glory by 3, and increase your honor by 3. And that's a 10. Survival. Gain a +1 rank in that skill.
All right. That fits actually really well with a crab. That's that's a 20 Goblin Winters guy.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so now you know who you're named for. So now you need to determine what your actual name is. You can obviously pick any name you want, but they do have a list in the playtest of several names and what they mean, and whether it's masculine, feminine, or unisex.
My page is going all different directions now.
I'm going to take Takeshi.
Damn it, that's what I was going to take. Screw
All right.
you. I'm joking. Go ahead and take it.
I can take whatever. I don't care. It's just the first one I came across.
Now I'll take Mamoto.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Hitoshi.
So we have Protector and Even-Tempered. Okay, so our next question and the final one is how
Most
should your
important
character die? Just like before, it doesn't have any actual mechanic. It's all narrative, but it's if your character had their choice, how would they die? Would they die of old age? Would they die taking down the biggest Oni that's ever lived? What would it be? Then decide what that would be for yourself. Here's the part that I was messing up earlier, and this is advancement. We're not going to go over too much of this because it doesn't have anything to do with what we're doing right now. But I do want to touch on it since it is something that will need to be looked at some point. So,
Just a quick interjection.
Yes.
I wanted to point out I really love the last bit of the death question. This has no mechanical implications, but you should keep it in mind. Your GM certainly will.
I like that too. Yes. Yeah, I like that a lot. So what they've done with this, instead of having the insight rank that you had with previous versions, is there's now just a specific amount of XP that needs to be spent in order for you to hit the next rank based on your school. So, for example, our Heated Defender, once he spends 16 XP on a certain number of things that he can choose from, then he can move on to rank 2. Once he's at rank 2, he has to spend 20 XP on, again, a certain number of things, and then so on and so forth, till you get all the way to rank 6. Right now, looks like rank 6 is the final rank. That's keeping with previous versions. They have not said anything about advanced schools, so I don't know if that's going to be a thing or paths or anything like that. But as of right now, we just have the rank 6 school abilities. They have changed up how many XP it costs as well. A ring, to increase a ring, it's 3 times whatever you're going to. So if you're trying to raise it from 1 to 2, it would be 6 points. 2 to 3, it would be... that's where you're going to. So 2 to 3 would be 9 points, etc. Skills are 2 times whatever you're going to. So to go from 1 to 2 would be 4, 2 to 3 would be 6, etc. If you're buying a new technique, whether it be a kata or whatever, it's 2 XP if it's an opportunity activated technique, 3 XP if it's an action activated technique. And it'll tell you in the category whether it's one or the other. So those are really the only big things you can really buy to advance.
Right.
Sorry, I thought I got messaged. It's just I'm gonna have to
It's
mute
from the
this
Happy
channel
Jacks.
real quick. There we go.
Yeah.
That way I don't get distracted again. Okay. Okay, so then let me see here. Don't need to go through any more of these. That's all the advancement stuff. Let's talk about skills for just a second, since we kind of talked about those before. Skills, that what they've done is they've dropped them into skill groups, and then the skills themselves are fairly wide ranging. So, for example, we have artisan skills, martial skills, scholar skills, social, and trade skills under, and then each one has an approach you can take, and those approaches are based on the ring. So let's just use artisan as an example because it's the easiest one. If you were to use, let's say, design to make something, or to deal with an object itself. If you used earth, you could use the restore approach to either, restore it from its damaged state. You could adapt it so that you can use it in a different way. That'd be a water ring. You can create a very brand new thing. That'd be out of fire. You can refine it so that it works better. That's with air. Or you can basically attune it to yourself so it works better with you. That would be under void. And each one of the skill categories has those approaches. And those approaches are listed on the character sheet, so you can look and see at each skill category which approaches are available. And when you go to make a skill roll, you need to determine which of those approaches you're taking so you know which ring you're rolling with the skill. Because unlike in previous versions, you don't have really a specific ring that goes with every single skill. It really determines the ring is how you're approaching the skill.
Approaching it.
Exactly. And then each time, each skill, as you get the opportunities, which is the 6-pointed little squiggly star-looking thing, those are your opportunities. There's a list of those within each skill, of the things you can get based on the ring you're using. And let's see, techniques.
I don't know, to make some of the people that were complaining about Star Wars happy.
Yeah. There's only one thing that I did want to also mention is a lot of people were complaining about the new dice because of having to learn so much. There's only 4 symbols on the dice.
Yeah.
That's all. So they're very easy to understand pretty quickly. You've got your standard success, which kind of looks like a comet. You've got your explosive success, which is 3 of those in like a circle. You've got your strife, which is that leaf that I was talking about. And then you have your opportunity, which is the weird, almost like an asterisk kind of thing made of little comet shapes. And then you have blanks. So those are the only things you have to remember. And honestly, if you have like a little cheat sheet sitting in front of you with the numbers written out in one little thing, which, you can very easily use regular dice. There's no reason you have to buy somebody else's dice. Mm-hmm. Buying the dice or the app will make things a little easier, but definitely not required.
Barely any easier, I want to say. Learn what the symbols mean at that point.
Yeah.
So I mean, what would I guess just for the sake of trying out the app and trying a roll, what would a standard roll be? I guess, like, let's say I have courtesy too, and we're doing a social approach, and I want to backhandedly compliment someone, right?
Okay. Let's go back to skills here real quick.
I'm talking to a lion. I'm talking to a lion Bushi, and I say, right, the Akodo were the best samurai ever. That's why. It's not because, I don't know. I can't think of a good backhanded insult. But right, I was like,
first
right,
thing you're going to do is
Akodo
you're going to
best.
determine, which skill you're going to use. Which in this case, I'm assuming you're going to go with courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would be using, since you're trying to do a backhand, you're kind of trying to get something out of them. So I would assume you're probably going to go with the insight approach, convincing someone to listen to their emotions rather than reason, reminding them of their desires, drawing their attention to you, getting someone to ignore risks before them, insulting someone, etc. So that sounds like what you're looking for to me, right?
Right.
Okay, so what you would do for that skill roll is you would take your fire ring and your courtesy skill. Your rings are always going to be D6s, and your skills are going to be D12s.
Okay.
And you would create your dice pool out of that.
Wait, ring is D6 and the skill is D12.
Right.
Okay. And so I would roll that, keep.
And well, you don't keep you don't keep like a specific ring or skill like you did before. You can keep any of those dice.
Okay.
Doesn't matter
I
which
got
ones you want to keep. I mean,
got one that exploded, so let me see what happened there. Okay. So I get I keep my ring, right?
yes.
Okay. So let's
Well,
say I
no, no,
roll
no.
a D.
You don't keep your ring. You keep. How many do you? Oh yeah, you're right. You do keep your ring. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. All right. So at least that part still sticks with the old L5R part.
Yes.
So okay. So in this case, I got a strife, an explosion success, and an opportunity.
Okay. So let's see what the opportunities are here for courtesy. Oh, first you'd have a TN.
Okay.
So your TN is based on basically your number of successes. In this, I would say maybe a TN of 2. So you need 2 successes in order
Gotcha.
to make this happen. So how many successes did you say you had?
Oh well, I mean, I had since I only get to keep one, I only the one success.
Okay. Well, didn't you have an explosion?
Yeah, I did, but that was that exploded into an opportunity.
Oh, okay, okay. So
Right.
you would just keep you'd only if you're choosing just to keep the one success. So unfortunately, that means you don't succeed in that. Now,
Gotcha.
if the explosion had exploded into a success and an opportunity, then you would have succeeded with an opportunity with it.
Gotcha.
And there's no looking to see if there's any examples of opportunities. I think I might have gone past that already.
Listen to all the noises app makes whenever you click on options.
Weird. Oh, here we go. Opportunities. Some social skill type opportunities. So like, what ring did you use for that? You used fire, right?
Yes.
So with one success, there's either you could choose to affect one additional character with your check per additional opportunity. So you could have actually insulted more than one person. Or the other option you'd have with just one opportunity is choose another character in the scene. That character suffers 1 strife. Reduce the TN of that character's next check in this scene by 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like that actually would have been pretty cool. Like the add another person that you're gonna insult. Like if you roll this beforehand, then you can come up with your insult for 2 people.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So looking to see if there's any other opportunities in here. So each skill does have a list of opportunities that you could, or each skill set, I should say. Skill group, that's what I'm looking for. Each skill group has opportunities that you can choose from. You can either there's always ones that have just say like any, so you could no matter what ring you're using, you can choose that one. And then there's one, usually at least one for each ring. Sometimes there's multiples. Some of the different effects will take 2 opportunities instead of just 1. And you can spend those opportunities however you choose. So if you happen to roll and keep 4 opportunities, you can choose 4 1 symbol opportunities, or you can do a couple of 2 symbol opportunities, or mix and match them however you'd like.
Gotcha. And explain to me how strife works.
Let's talk about strife here. Let's see, that's in a different section, is it not? I'm looking for the actual section in the guide here that talks about strife. You know what? Let's just do this. Just do a search.
It's should be page 16.
16, okay. All right, here we go. All right, so like I mentioned, you have those the strife options on the die. You will have on your character sheet some derived values. One of those values is composure. And your composure is, I believe, let's find it on the sheet. I want to say it's fire and earth times 2. So you add fire and earth together and you multiply it by 2. That is your composure. Anytime your strife exceeds that composure level, that's when you have the outburst. So your outburst could be, let's see, we've got a couple of options here. Compromise or flee, expose a weakness, become enraged, things like that. And then once you resolve whatever that outburst is, you lose that strife. I think you lose like half of it or something like that.
Well, looking at the character sheets, let's see. If you fulfill like your passions after performing a check related to your passion, remove 3 strifes. Anxieties after performing a check related to your anxiety, suffer 3 strife. If you suffer an outburst as a result, regain 1 void point. Let's see, distinction, that does nothing, and
Okay, yeah, here they are. The listed underneath the different options I just mentioned. They all say at the end of the scene, the character removes strife until their strife is equal to half their composure. So once you actually have your outburst, you lose strife.
gotcha.
You also naturally remove strife as time passes. So at the end of each scene, you remove strife equal to your water ring.
Focus is airport fire. That's weak focus.
And one of the things that I think is interesting is there's a special category here. It says outbursts during conflict scenes. During a conflict scene, a character checks their strife at the beginning of their turn. If at that point their strife exceeds their composure, they suffer the outburst and resolve its effects immediately, and then proceed with their turn.
Sergito,
Yes.
so for void point, since it has here maximum and current, how would we calculate maximum void?
That is a good question. I don't remember that answer. Maybe your maximum you can have is your void ring, maybe? Or let's see if I can find it real quick. At each section, you begin with 1 void point and accrue a maximum of void points equal to the value of your void ring. Yep.
Okay.
If your character's current void points equal your void ring, you cannot gain further void points. And void points unspent at the end of the game do not carry over the next next game session.
Good to know.
And there's also a couple of things you can spend void points on. Seizing the moment, making a last-ditch effort. Sometimes your techniques will require a void point. And then there's also a list of things you can do to gain back void points, in addition to some of the techniques and things we were talking about before. You can also get them back if you succeed. No, after the GM conceals a TN from a check. So normally TNs are open, but if I choose to then hide a TN from you for some reason, you would then get a void point for that if you were under your normal level.
Okay.
Same thing with if you fail a check where your adversity was part of it, you get a void point. If you suffer an outburst because of one of your anxieties, you get a void point. Okay, so I think, if I'm not mistaken, we covered most of the character stuff. We do need to do those derived stats real quick. So there's 3 of them. There's 4 of them. Your resilience, which basically is your wounds, it's your earth plus your water times 2. So mine is 12. So earth is 3, water is 3, times 2 would be 12.
Mine is 10, Earth 2, Water 3.
And then Composure is Fire plus Earth times 2. Mine is 10.
Fire plus Earth.
I got a 6.
Fire plus Earth, you said?
Yep.
I got a 6 as well. No, wait, I'm sorry.
You should get an 8, right?
Fire plus Earth times 2.
8. I was
Yeah.
forgetting to add the fire. I'm looking at my notes and I don't have any fire written down, so I momentarily forgot the base 1.
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I've got 3 Earth.
Gotcha. Focus is Air plus Fire. So mine is 3.
I got a 2.
Air, 2, 3. Just a flat air
It's
plus
just
fire?
Air plus Fire.
3.
And your Vigilance is Water plus Air divided by 2.
It's a 2.
Air divided by
Mine is
2.
also 2.
Ditto.
Boot.
Right, and then we just talked about void points, so my maximum is 1. And current is 1. Because we just started the session.
Maximum is 3. Current would be 1.
Yep.
Okay.
I have a max of 2, current of 1.
Okay, so that's basically character creation part, which takes us all the way through the majority of the book. That takes us basically all the way through chapter 4. Chapter 5 is equipment, which there is some changes to equipment. Some of the things that are in here, like your damage, it's like a flat amount. Now, there is like a soak type roll with this, so you can soak some of that damage, but it's not like a range of damage unless you get a critical. Then criticals have like completely different way of handling those. But let's say just use katana as an example. Damage on a katana is 4. So it does 4 damage when you're attacked with one. It has a deadliness of 5. Now that is just the likeliness that it's going to either inflict gruesome injuries or death. It's not necessarily have anything to do with the actual wounds. Because some weapons will have more ridiculous things that happens when you get a explosion or critical success, whatever you want to call it. And other things won't. So a katana's deadliness is 5, which is mostly the highest. There are 2 things that I see in here that are higher. One is a zanbato, and I'll be honest, I have no idea what the hell that is.
That's the... Did you watch Rurouni Kenshin?
No.
Okay. It's a giant-ass iron sword that was developed to cut horses' legs off.
Okay, because it does say 2-handed. So
Yeah,
Right.
in mid-charge.
Have you ever
Gotcha.
seen a video game Claymore?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's a Japanese version. Isn't it basically a Nodachi?
No, it's bigger.
It's bigger than a Nodachi. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
No.
these are ridiculously big. Like that's why you'll only see them in anime and video games because
Pretty much,
they
yeah.
don't work. They don't. There's no way anyone can carry that. Like there should be a restriction on it that you have to be, like in the chart, there should be a restriction that you have to be huge to use it, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Like you have to have the biggest crab using that all the time.
Yeah, pretty much. They're enormous. They're like 7 or 8 feet long. They're usually like a foot or so thick, or wide. I mean, and literally, I mean, they weren't meant for real combat and or elegance of any sort.
Yeah,
it was
is
literally
listed
just swing this ginormous hunk of metal at the horse's legs and break them.
one of the things that they did is they added special qualities to weapons, and one of those special qualities is cumbersome, which that weapon has, and one of them
Yeah.
is war gear, which basically means if you carry this, not in a battle, people are going to look at you or run away, because it is war gear. It is not meant for anything else,
Yep.
and that's the
Nice.
two qualities that it has. The only other one that I see here on the list that has the higher than the katana is Naginata, which
Yeah.
pretty much same thing. It's basically a katana on
Basically,
a
a
stick.
katana on a stick, but yeah.
Yes, it is. Cumbersome. I take offense to that. No, it's not. Says the guy who's never used one.
And let's see, some of the qualities that I see here is we have razor edged, which is katana and naginata, etc. We also have ceremonial, concealable, durable, snaring, mundane. Let's see, I already mentioned war gear and cumbersome. Natural.
Is that like chair legs and the like? Mundane?
Mundane, it's listed for staff and club.
Club.
So
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
under improvised, those are also mundane.
Oh yeah, so definitely a chair leg. There you go.
Yeah.
Improvised weapon blunt. Improvised weapon edged. So like, what is it? A butcher's cleaver, chair leg, stool, table leg. I'm guessing peasant weapons would fall under that.
Probably.
Okay. I like that
Let's
they
see.
added the
Oh, there you go.
one-handed, two-handed option for.
Joe's got hope for the mantis there. If they've marked out peasant weapons.
I was gonna say I don't see any peasant weapons in here listed. So the closest thing would be the Kusarigama, but that's not really a peasant weapon.
No, that was more a ninja weapon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No commas.
No comma, no nunchucks, no Joe stabs or anything like that.
Yeah.
Is there?
Nothing you
It's gonna be in
typically
the
see a mantis
$60
using.
mantis supplement.
And then the next thing we have is armor, and this is where resistance comes into play. You'll have two different kinds of resistances. You have a physical resistance, which is just exactly what it sounds. It's resistance against any sort of physical attack. Then you have a supernatural resistance, which can be against spells, kiho, maho, anything that's supernatural and not just basically a physical attack. And they also have
Best
special
defense
qualities.
against Maho is a Tetsuba to the head of the Mahosuke.
This is true.
It's
And they
like
also
the
have
only
the
one
same
who
sort of
gets
special
this-
qualities.
Looks like the only one who gets the supernatural resistance is the sanctified rose.
Yeah. There's also there's something else in there that, well, it wouldn't be supernatural resistance, but there's something else in there that does.
They have the special qualities for the equipment is right there. It's we've got ceremonial, concealable, cumbersome, damage, destroyed, durable, mundane,
and natural.
razor edged, resplendent, sacred, snaring, subtle, and unholy.
Oh, these are all of them. For a second, I thought these were the armor qualities. And I'm like, razor edged?
Sacred. That's the one I was looking at. That's the one that does supernatural damage and ignores supernatural
warrior is-
resistance. That's what I was.
When I
thinking.
earn my Jade Tetsubo,
Just jade encrusted Tetsubo.
I don't understand. Ceremonial armor. I don't get it.
And then there's also, the listing of all the different things you can get for equipment. Gives you rules for applying poison
Unholy.
to weapons.
Nice.
None of these things seem that much out of the norm. Pretty much standard. And then we get to what's going to be my favorite part of the rules, and that is scenes. The scenes, the way they're doing scenes, I think is very clean and elegant. Like I was mentioning, I don't know if this was on the recording earlier or not, but you have three types of scenes. You have a narrative scene, a downtime scene, or a conflict scene. Narrative scenes are anytime like you're just sort of narrating out what the characters are doing, but you're not actually getting into conflict with anyone. Like you're just going to go purchase something at the
It's the
local
crane spending
shops or
4 hours
whatever.
arranging flowers.
Exactly. Well, that'd be a downtime scene. Spending 4 hours arranging flowers or working on
there you
art. You know,
Well, no, you see, with the
cleaning your
crane, that
armor.
would be the narrative scene because he would describe all 4 hours in real time.
Yeah, if it was a crane, absolutely. Now, if it was armor cleaning time, and or weapon maintenance, that would be a crab
the
narrative.
crab's narrative scene.
So, like I said, you got the downtime scenes, which is you can just narrate out things you're doing in your downtime.
Then we got to the goblin blood, and let me tell you, goblin blood takes a long time to take out.
Take some elbow grease, let me tell you. Then the most elegant part is your conflict scenes. They're all treated the same way. There's 4 types of conflict scenes. There's an intrigue, that's a social conflict scene. A duel, which is exactly what it sounds like. Skirmish, which is just a small squad battle, like 2 on like a small group, basically like a party. And then your mass battles. They're all pretty much handled in the same way. You've got your same steps in all 4 of them. They're just different opportunities and different ways of handling each one, but they're all basically run in the exact same format, which I think is amazing. I have a cheat sheet that I put up, but the phases are the same for all one. You have your assess the scene phase, phase 1. Your taking of turns, which is phase 2. Then you have phase 3, which is performing your actions. Or no, that's part of your taking your turn. Sorry, phase 3 is actually resolution. Yes. So those 3 phases are for all of those conflict scenes. Every single one of them, you work in those same phases, and each phase breaks down into further things like your first phase of assessing the scene. Depending on what type of scene you're in, you make a check. It's basically you assessing what's going on. If it's an intrigue scene, you're making a sentiment check. If it's a duel, you're making a meditation check, skirmish, tactics, and mass battle command. Those checks then inform what happens later in the turn. You'll get like bonuses and things, primarily on initiative. There are also approaches you can make on those, so you can determine which ring to use. So, like, say if it's an intrigue and you're trying to figure out what their motivation is in the scene, that'd be a fire check. If it's a skirmish and you're trying to see what kind of defenses they have in place, or actually, let's do it better. You're trying to see what kind of scenery is around, so things you can hide behind, that sort of thing. That would be water. If you're doing mass battle and you want to check out their defenses, earth, etc. So those are all in there as options. Your turns are pretty interesting. Your rounds, initiative, goes at the end of that phase. You at the beginning of your turn, you resolve anything you have to that's supposed to say at the beginning of the turn. Then you set your stance. Your stance are also elemental. So you have, earth, water, fire, air, void. I want to mention something here since I'm bringing up this. The way they're doing the elements is very clunky to me, and I don't like it. In previous versions, it was always alphabetical. Air, earth, fire, water, void. And here, they always do earth first. Earth, water, fire, air, void. And I don't like that. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't like that, the way they've got that lined up. It really irks me, and I don't know why. I guess because of, what did we say earlier? It was 21 years of doing it the other way?
That's what I'm thinking. I don't have any of my L5R cards near me, but I'm wondering if that's the way you start at like the 12 o'clock position and go around the clock, as it were. Maybe that's how they're laid out.
Let me look at the...
Hold on. I got the book right in front of me.
Well, I got the character sheet, and, oh, that's right. They don't have the ring thing in the character sheet. They just have the...
No.
Okay, so in the
Let's be honest, AEG did their character sheets so much prettier.
Yeah. Well, this is a beta character sheet, so...
That's true.
On the AEG L5R, the rings, it's water, earth, air, fire, void.
So, yeah, that doesn't even match up with that. I don't know where they came up with that format, but it drives me crazy. I'm always expecting air to be first. Anyway, So you've got all those stances, and examples like, let's go with Earth. The description of an Earth stance is you focus on your foundation, employing tactics that keep you rooted and defended while you await the exact right moment to act. The effect of that is that when other characters make attack actions and scheme actions against you, they cannot spend opportunities to inflict critical strikes, conditions, or persistent effects on you. So basically, if you choose the Earth stance, they cannot critically succeed against you.
Sorry, going based on the character sheet, looks like they just can't spend the opportunities on you. So like when they roll the opportunity value on their die, they can't use that against you. I think they can still critically succeed, but just not use the opportunity.
They can
values.
explode,
Right.
but when you explode, you get the opportunity to use a critical strike, which is an actual move kind of thing in this.
Right.
And you have to spend that to do that. So you can't do that if you're taking the Earth stance. They can't use that. And critical strikes are actually important. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but critical strikes can be really harsh depending on what kind of weapons you're using and things. And yes, I hate to say this, but...
Like 4-foot razor blades?
Yes, exactly. Stork, there are falling rules in this game, and falling will kill you.
What's the challenge rating on a stair?
There's no challenge rating on the stairs. No.
So wait, if there's a 10-foot wall and I'm walking precariously on top of it and I were to fall over, do I die?
That's a good question. I don't know right offhand exactly the way that would work. But the way that kind of boils down is we have another elegant way of handling things, and that's called range bands. There are
I really like this.
You have range 0. The range 0 band is within touch, your touch distance. Range band 1 is within sword distance. So anything you could attack, just basic melee with a sword. Range 2 is spear, so like basically reach weapons. Range 3 is within throw weapon distance. Range 4 is bows. Range 5 is a volley of arrows. So not like a straight shot, but a volley. And range 6 is within sight. Anything out of range 6 you can't see, so it doesn't even matter. It's not part of the range anyway. But once I described those, that's actually how they do falling as well. They do the range, but kind of spun on its side, basically. So instead of it being how far away from you it is, it's how far down it is, or how far up, I guess you could say, and how much you fall, and that's your range band. And let's see here. It goes in the same distance, 0 to 6. So if it's 10 feet, I would say that'd probably be like thrown weapon range.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And so that would be range 3. And let's see, it says here, character suffers 12 physical damage and takes on the unconscious condition. Now, assuming no checks are made to absorb any of that damage, that would kill me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
As a first level character, that would straight up kill me.
Yep.
Falling
Same
10
here.
feet. So, there you go, Stork.
Well, if my plastic surgeon, the guy that's working on my foot, is to be believed, yes, that actually could. According to him, that is a neurological fall, and yeah, you can kill yourself.
And even if you don't...
I have strange doctors, what can I say?
Critical strike starts happening at the next range level, where you take a critical strike with severity 10 instead of just taking straight damage. Now let's talk about those critical strikes. There is a severity range from 0 to 16 plus. At a severity of 0, basically you get like your clothes cut, but you don't actually receive any damage. It's basically just aesthetic damage.
Right.
If you're wearing armor, the armor gains the damaged quality, that sort of thing. 1 to 4, you take a staggering strike. It's very painful, but it should heal cleanly and pretty quickly. So you would then gain conditions like immobilized, dazed, etc. It depends on whatever ring they're using to make the strike. Crushing blow is something that's going to be lasting damage. So you take conditions like injured arm, injured jaw, injured leg, injured brain, whatever. 8 to 9 is devastating strike, which is not only is it bad, but it's going to leave you permanently injured. So you're going to choose things like fractured spine, lost eye, lost fingers, lost memories. So if you ever take a severity 8 to 9 critical check or critical strike, you're going to be taking some massive bad things from that. Not only damage, but long-lasting effects. Because you'll be basically taking on disadvantages.
Considering my character has cognitive lapses, I'd probably just end him there.
Well, actually, that's under 10 to 11, maiming blow. More disadvantages, this time things like blindness, cognitive lapses, damaged heart, damaged organs, deafness, etc. And then you get to 12 to 13, which is agonizing death. You take a mortal blow, and you know it. Without rapid intervention, your character will surely perish in a short time. You take the bleeding and dying conditions. And the dying has a time limit or a timer of 3 rounds. You're going to die within 3 rounds unless somebody does something about it. The 14 to 15 is swift death. Same as before, only your dying is only in a 1 round. 16 plus, instant death. You die immediately and don't even have time for dramatic words.
Where's the fun in that?
Well, I mean, at the very least, you kept that part from L5R. I mean, from the original,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's still very deadly. Don't kid yourself. You can still die.
Yep.
That.
One thing I'm not sure about the variable or the lack of variable damage. We'll have to wait and see how that actually happens and comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of feels weird to me, but we'll see how that comes out in the end. But the other thing that kind of I'm unsure about how it's going to work really is where was I? Oh, I was reading this in here, and that's that they designed it so that it was unlikely for a samurai to die in combat,
Right.
like skirmish, because I mean it's likely if you're facing higher ranked people, but if you're just like going up against bandits or something, it's not very likely you're gonna die. You might take some damage. It might hurt you. You might take some scars or whatever, but you're probably not gonna die. But they did make it so that the one way that you're gonna die more often than anything is in a duel. And one thing that I read is a lot of these things, like the mass combat and even skirmishes, some of the opportunities in there are you basically call somebody out in a duel. So they've actually upped the possible opportunities for you to duel somebody.
That's good.
I do like that part, but I kind of dislike the part where they've made it so it's not likely for you to die in combat. But maybe they just mean cheap combat. I don't know. I do also like their mass battle rules. They're very elegant as well. You have your commander. Then, like if your PCs get into a mass combat, they become leaders of cohorts, like little chunks of the army. And there are things you can do as part of that will add to the mass battle, like checks and bonuses and things. So I like that part pretty well. I liked the old mass combat rules though too, so I don't know, I haven't actually run these yet, but they look like they'd be pretty good. I mean, there's even things like battle fatigue and stuff like that in there, which I think is pretty cool. Let's see what else. Let's see, the one thing I missed when I was talking about range bands is the other thing that they came up with is called the silhouette, and that's basically their size rules. So the silhouette of a character is basically their size.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like a little chart. A human has a silhouette of 2, and a human or any creature with a silhouette of 2 can carry a number of things adding up to their silhouette value. So like, for example, at a silhouette value of 0, you have Handheld objects, cats, and small dogs. You can carry like a couple of those. 1 is children, ratlings, large dogs, goblins, zokujin, things, and then horses, naga, etc. are 3, ogres and stuff are 4, dragons are 5. So they're very big.
Huh.
And the other thing is conditions, which we were talking about before when I was talking about the criticals. You have burning, afflicted, dazed, or disoriented. Which those I normally don't like. Like, I don't like them in Pathfinder and things like that, but these seem a lot better. There's only a few of them for 1, and it's not like a bunch of mechanical. You take a -2 to these checks, a -3 to that, or whatever. There's actual, like, let's just use fatigued as an example. The character is physically and mentally exhausted. Characters who go more than 24 hours without sleep suffer this condition. The effects are, after a fatigued character performs a check, they gain a strife. Not like they're at -2 to all their rolls or whatever. And you remove that condition by sleeping for at least 6 hours. Intoxicated. A character doubles all strife that they suffer and doubles all strife that they remove.
Nice.
So, conditions are very clean and elegant as well. I like those a lot. All right, so now that we've made our characters and we kind of went over the basic rules here, let's do a skirmish.
I was gonna ask, do you want to do a duel first, then a skirmish?
We can do a duel. You actually, you know what? Why don't we have you two duel each other?
Cool.
You and Aislinn.
Oh yeah, I said cool. My bad.
Let's see. Let's go ahead and say that it's a duel to the death because that makes it more fun.
Certainly would with me.
Yep.
All right. So just like before, you make your assessment check. You choose a ring. Earth, you're reflecting on your weaknesses, thinking of how you can mitigate them when facing your opponent. With fire, you focus on your desires and those of your opponent. Water, you center yourself in your environment, looking for how you can use the tiniest irregularity to your advantage. Air, you consider the advantages you have over your opponent and how you can use those to press upon their weaknesses. And void, center yourself in the universe, seeking out the spiritual currents and eddies around you. And you do that with meditation. TN of 1.
All right, I'm gonna do void meditation then. So that's, I got 3 voids, so that's 3d6, and I got 1 meditation, so that's 1d12, and I only need to succeed 1 time, correct?
Yep, only 1 success.
All right, rolling. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and roll that explosion with the. Oh, yeah, I get to keep 3. So let's see. Explode that really quick. That exploded again. Let's see if I want to. I'll go ahead and just. Well, no, I still gotta keep. All right, I got 1 success, 2 explosions with strife, and then a blank.
So which ones are you keeping?
The 1 success and the 2 explosions. It's 1 explosion and it exploded again, and then it went blank. So I'm keeping a blank, the success, and the exploding success with the 2 strife.
Are you there, Aislinn? Did I lose somebody?
I'm still here. Aislinn, you still there?
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead and make your initiative check, or I mean your meditation check. with whichever ring you're choosing.
I sent I took a screenshot of the app roller so you can see it on Discord.
Nice. Let's see. For Earth, I think. So it's 1, 2, 3. I get 2 in meditation, so it's 3d6 and 2d12. Oh, wrong tab. Yeah.
There he goes. You got a 6, a 3, and a 5.
2d12. Alright. Back to the.
Okay, so you get 1 explosion with the strife on one of the d6s, and you get an opportunity and an opportunity with strife on the d6s. So you want to roll 1 more d6?
Yeah, it would help if I can learn to click the right buttons. I don't know why you keep clicking on Discord to open that up. Splody.
No.
No, it's the other direction. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Okay, so basically with your d6s, you got 1 opportunity with strife. That's your 6. The 5 is an opportunity. The 3 was the explosion with the opportunity. So it's an explosive success with the opportunity, which turned into an opportunity. Excuse me. Explosion success with strife, which turned into an opportunity with strife. Okay, so I'm writing them down here. Strife. Strife. And on your D12, let me see what you got. You have a blank for your 2, and for the 11, you have an opportunity. So, basically, you can get, if you were gonna go with successes, which you need at least 1, you'd have to take the explosion with the strife, which you have to also take the opportunity with the strife because it exploded. And then, what's your Earth ring? 3, right?
3, yeah.
Yep. So you get to take 2 more opportunity.
Let's see what kind of opportunities there can be on something like this.
The translation doesn't take too long, but you are gonna need paper on the site just to make sure you write everything down.
So you rolled Earth. So your opportunities are going to be defensive, thorough, and reassuring. Let's see. You can add an exciting story detail from your check that is unrelated to your success or failure. Determine the easiest way to accomplish the task you're attempting. That is if it was a skill, which in this case we're not really doing a skill roll. You can also provide assistance to somebody making a similar check, which also you can't do here. With Earth, you can recall an important piece of information not directly related to your check. That's a narrative. You can also act extremely carefully, maintaining your balance and keeping a safe distance from sources of harm. And then your mechanical uses are choose a character in the scene, and for each opportunity, each chosen character removes 2 strife. Choose a water or fire opportunity from this or another table and resolve that one instead.
Interesting.
So basically, it says choose 1 character. It can be you, so you can remove strife from yourself.
So you can basically eliminate the strife that was on that roll.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
Yep.
All right.
So that works.
What did I roll again? I did. And I got.
Step away from my computer for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yep.
Go for it. Keep 3. Right. So if you look at the Discord channel,
Okay.
the die on the left, which is just a success, I took that one. Then I took the explosion with the strife. That turned into another explosion with the strife. That turned into a blank die. So I kept the success, the explosion success with the strife, and the blank D12. So I got 2 strife out of that. But
Okay.
3 successes, I guess?
Yeah, it looks like you got 3 successes. Yeah. Now you didn't get any opportunities in there, right? I don't see any.
Yep, no opportunities.
Okay. So the next step for this then is actually initiative,
Mm-hmm.
and the way initiative works is you're prepared. You guys know what's happening. So your base is your focus attribute, or whatever you want to call it, the focus number, and then you add any extra successes you had on your check on top of that, and that's your
Okay, so
initiative.
my focus is 2, and since I had 2 explosion successes, that's a 4.
Yep.
Okay. Initiative 4. Yeah, since you're recording and I'm assuming you're gonna upload it, that's why I started asking you all the questions about specific things. I was like,
That's cool. Not a problem at all. And now, actually, I mean, that would be normal. Now, this is a duel, so you actually don't have an initiative. Instead, you begin with a stare down.
okay.
And the way it works is at the start of each round, including the first round, each character bids strife to increase their initiative value for that round. So whether or not you see who's going to take turns, or who's going to go first, rather. You can basically choose any number between 0 and your composure, and then simultaneously you reveal the number, and each person in the duel suffers that amount of strife immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And then each character then adds that number to their current initiative to determine the initiative value for the round. So you start with the number we talked about before, so you'd have 4. Then you'd add
Okay, and
your strife that you bid on top of that.
Gotcha. I like that.
And then whichever of the two bid more, or actually ends up having the higher initiative after the bids, that person gets to go first.
Okay.
And then during the turns, there's a couple of different things you can do. You can set your stance, choose an action from a different list, or you can end your turn, which you're going to do after you choose something.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what are the actions? Center, where you watch your foe closely to make an attack impossible. As a support action, you can make a TN1 martial arts check targeting another character. Additionally, choose one of their rings and record the choice. If you succeed in your check, you increase the TN of the next attack on you by 2, plus any bonus successes on your martial arts check. And that will last until the beginning of your next turn. If you succeed on that check also, when your opponent makes a check for an action, you can reveal the ring you chose, and if their check uses that ring, they suffer 3 strife. And that lasts until the beginning of your next turn as well. So if you know something about your opponent, which in this case you're fighting a crab, so you can assume they're probably going to use Earth, you can choose Earth as the ring, then make your check with whatever ring you want. And then on their turn, if they go to make a check, and you go, I chose Earth, here it is, then they take 3 strife. Now, then there's a provoke action, where you can basically, draw a reaction out of the person. Use a scheme action, TN3 martial arts check, using the appropriate skill for whatever weapon you're using, and targeting one specific character. If you succeed in the check, reduce the TN of your attack action checks, targeting the foe by 1, plus any of your bonus successes. This effect persists until the end of your next turn. So you can basically provoke them this turn to reduce their TN, and the next turn you can strike. Strike is also an action, which basically you're making an attack
what
action.
Page are you on?
Sorry?
What page are you on?
I'm on page 162.
Thank you. Okay. And where does kata fall into this at any point?
Um, it's a good question. I think kata are just like techniques you use, so they can be part of it before you start.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go to techniques real quick and see what it says.
Okay. So like I'm in the kata section right now. Where
Okay.
so school rank 1 kata, and the first one they have is Iai Jutsu, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the Bushi draws your blade, blah blah blah. Activation: as an attack action using one sheath razor edged weapon, you may make a TN2 martial arts melee check targeting one character at range 1 to 2. Effects: you draw and ready the sheath weapon in one-handed grip. You succeed, you deal physical damage to the target equal to the weapon's deadliness plus your bonus successes. Okay, so that would just be considered an attack then, right?
Yeah, it's just an
EI
action.
Jutsu?
Yeah, so you can choose that
Gotcha.
particular action as your attack.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me see
I would
what
assume that
striking.
would have to be. Oh, I see what it's doing. Okay, so you basically, I think you're going to be doing Ayajitsu in a duel no matter what, really. But I think what that particular technique is for maybe in the middle of a regular combat
Mm-hmm.
when you're not actually ready to fight. Because it says you can draw and ready a sheathed weapon in a one-handed grip. So if you weren't ready for the combat, you can actually, because normally you have to ready the weapon and then draw it, or draw a weapon rather and then ready it. So if
Right.
you weren't ready, you can actually do both of those in one action and attack at the same time using that
Okay.
kata in the middle of like a skirmish or something. But I don't think that would be part of a duel.
Striking as water. The finest armor is useless if a warrior can bypass it, flipping a blade through the gaps that allow the wearer to move, or using blunt concussive force to create vulnerability. As the Bushi strikes, they attempt to slide past the target's defenses to deliver a lethal blow. Okay, activation. When you make martial arts melee ranged or unarmed water check, you may spend opportunity in the following way: reduce your target's physical resistance by 2 per opportunity spent this way. This effect persists until the end of your next turn. So, do we collect opportunity?
Well, it'd be the opportunity on that particular roll, right? Which one are you reading? Striking as
Gotcha.
water?
Water. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's whatever you had on that roll.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if you had at least two
Basically,
opportunity in that roll, you could reduce their resistance.
it's a
Gotcha.
sink. It's a way to help sink extra opportunity.
Right, right. Okay.
So instead of spending the opportunity on a positive negative effect or
Narrative.
some other weird effect, you can instead choose it to do this other effect specific to
Damage.
striking
Always
as water.
damage. Nice. We're gonna be using striking as water versus striking as earth. One causes more one reduces physical resistance, the other one increases physical resistance. But I've been Y1.
Well,
But
well,
I've
I was
been
going to say
Y1.
that it would only matter if he went first, because it says the description is after striking,
That's true.
so he wouldn't be able to do it and activate it until he makes a strike. And that's what
Okay.
I was just looking at is under the act. So the activation is when you meet that criteria, when making a martial arts check.
Right.
So if you're making martial arts melee with water, and you get opportunity, you can use that opportunity to do the following.
Right. Okay.
So I mean, they could pretty much effectively stack. I mean, you could have Ayajitsu, say you were in a skirmish, use the Ayajitsu, it activates, and then you've just made an attack action, so then striking as water would activate.
Right.
That's my thought. It doesn't say anything about how you can't use more than one. That's what I was looking for. Skimming through this really quick, and I don't see anything that says you can't have more than one. Yeah, I don't see anything in here at all, so I just went through the entire technique section, and there's nothing in here saying you can't have more than one activated. It's just they activate when you meet their activation criteria, or they can be if you
Right.
choose to. Alright, so now that we're all back, let's go back to our duel. So what I was saying while you were gone, Aisling, is now that the assessment checks is over, you come up with your initiative. Since you're aware of what's going on, your initiative is your focus score plus any extra successes you had on your assessment check.
Okay.
So you had to have one to actually succeed in the assessment. So if you had any more than one, which I don't remember what your roll was, you add that to your initiative. Do you remember what your roll was, or how many successes you had?
Yeah,
I
he
think
had.
I just had the one.
Yeah, he had the one success with the strife that exploded, and then he had 2 opportunity after that.
Okay. So yeah, your initiative then would just be your focus.
So 3.
And my initiative is 6.
And that takes us to the stare down, which is what happens at the start of each round. You can bid strife to increase your initiative value for the round. Each participating character secretly chooses a number between 0 and their composure and bids that amount. Then you simultaneously reveal the number you've chosen and add that number to your initiative. You then, I'm assuming then you would then add that to your strife. Doesn't say it
Yeah.
specifically, but in other places where it talks about bidding your strife, that's what it says. You then gain that much strife. So I'm assuming that's what would happen here.
Okay. I have my number. You have your number, Aislinn?
Hang on a second. Now, aside from determining who goes first, does initiative do anything else?
No, it just determines who goes first, but it's you'll do more with your action than just striking. There are other things you can do. So even though he's going first, he may choose to focus, he may choose to do something else, and then you might actually get the first strike.
Yeah, no. What I'm trying to think is, I mean, there's such a disparity in the two numbers. I have an initiative of 3. He's got currently initiative of 3, and he's got a 6.
Mhm.
I'm trying to understand basically sort of the options. I mean, is there a point to trying to bid up to get ahead of him besides trying to go for the first strike, or like does he give you extra actions or anything?
It doesn't give you any
Or is it
extra
just-
actions. It purely just lets you go first.
Determines order.
Yeah, it just determines order.
Okay.
And one thing
Yeah, how
that
do you
I do
order?
want to mention is it says here, don't bid too high, because if your strife exceeds your composure during a duel, the opponent gets to try to strike you with a finishing blow.
Right.
Nice.
Okay. All right. So how do you want to reveal them?
I guess just so we don't.
Why don't you
Talk
just
over each other.
message them to me in Roll20?
Okay.
That way I know what they are, but they're hidden from each of you.
Okay. Let me just
That's.
Mark is the GM?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is.
/WGM.
Okay. Aislinn actually bid 0, and Hyro, Jackalope bid 2. So his initiative is now 8, and he gains 2 strife. and he gets to go first. So when going first thing you're going to do is you're going to set your stance, and you can choose your stance based on your ring.
I'm going to do the void stance.
Okay, and that also determines the ring you're going to be using for your checks during this turn as well.
Okay. That way I can avoid gaining any more strife.
I was going to say which I didn't know what this void stance did. I was looking for that right now.
Yeah, you do not gain strife from strife markers results on checks.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, and then the next step from your stance is going to be any movement, which in a duel you don't have to worry about movement, because you're assumed to be at duel range.
Skirmishes.
And then next you go to actions. Your action choices that I was mentioning while you were gone is center, provoke, strike, and use skill.
Also provoke.
Did I miss provoke? I thought I said that. Center, provoke, strike, and use skill.
Okay.
Center increases your TN against the person who's trying to strike you. Provoke reduces the TN of the person you're trying to strike. Strike obviously is exactly what it is. You're just actually hitting them. Use skill, it says, is pretty much just a narrative thing. Where you're like maybe checking out their stance to see what school they come from or something like that, maybe.
Okay. So at this point, because I chose the void stance, I would be using a martial arts void attack.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
If you chose to strike.
Right.
Or if you're actually if you do center, it'd also be martial arts void.
Right. Oh, I was asking more so because of the kata. Striking as water specifies it has to melee martial arts water check.
Yes, it does.
So, okay. So that also makes sense. Awesome. Let's see. Alright, I'm just gonna do a straight attack then.
All right. So you're not going to center anything, you're just going to strike?
You're right. I'm not gonna center.
Straight up strike. Okay. So then you're going to be doing martial arts melee plus void, looking for 2 successes.
Okay, that's so I have martial arts melee 2, so that's 2d12s, and void 3, that's 3d6.
Mhm.
Roll. I got opportunity, success with strife, explosion with strife. Let me explode that. See, success with strife. Okay, so I keep 3, and I do not want to keep all that strife because it's actually not good for me. So I'm going to use 1 success with strife. And
Embrace the strife.
Well, yeah, but I'm already close to my outburst. Don't want to do that yet. So I'll do.
I'm just saying, a real man would take all that strife.
You know what? I just remembered. I don't take any strife because I'm in the void. I'm in my void ring.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, I'll take both those 3 successes because of those 3 successes and 1 opportunity because one of them exploded.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 3 successes, 1 opportunity.
Okay.
No
So
strife.
you do the damage of your sword, which we said before was 4, I think, right?
I believe so.
I'd have to go back to it and double check. But plus 1 for your bonus success. If you wouldn't mind checking your weapon
Yeah.
while I look at your opportunities options.
Yep. Okay, so it's damage 4. Yep, that's damage 4 for the katana.
And then plus 1
And
for the
you
extra
said plus
success. So damage of 5.
I got 2 extra successes.
Oh, you had 2 extra successes. Oh, sorry. I thought you said
Yeah.
you had 3 successes total. How many
Right.
successes did you have total? 3?
Yeah.
The TN is 2, so you needed 2 successes to strike.
Right.
So you only had 1 bonus success.
Gotcha.
And then you had 1 opportunity, so let's
Can't trust a phoenix. Just saying.
see what we can do with that opportunity here.
Go ahead and
Is your mother a scorpion, maybe?
Hey, you leave her out of this. She's a good woman. Her being a Bayushi has nothing to do with it.
There it is. Opportunity.
Yeah, I went ahead and sent the screenshot to the Discord again just to show my honesty, keep things above board.
So I'm assuming you don't want to give him a bonus. So because with any element you can spend one to help somebody if you fail. If you succeed, you can help the next person to attempt a check. So either way, I'm assuming you don't want to help him. So in void, you name a ring.
Okay.
Anything but void. If your next check uses that ring, you can reduce its TN by 1. Or you can name a ring and, except for void, and opportunities from that or another table. Oh, sorry. Choose an air, earth, fire, or water opportunity and resolve that.
Okay.
You can remove 2 strife per opportunity spent.
Oh, I'll take off 2 strife then.
That's a water. So yeah, you can do that.
All right.
That'll help you out. And then, let's see. After you did your action, here we go. Then you scroll to the right page so that your DM knows what the hell is going on. There we go. Then you resolve your turn.
All right. And that would be.
So you did your damage. And since it's a duel to the death, it then goes to, I guess, just a basic skirmish. That's the way it does it in the old versions.
Let's see. Okay, to the death. Any duel with live weapons is likely to end with one or both parties dead, but some duels demand at least one combatant perish. At the end of each round, if a character slew the enemy or inflicted the dying condition upon them, the objective is completed.
Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, so you score the round. So let's see, you achieved your objective. You didn't do that. Struck the enemy first. You gain 3 points. Inflicted wounds on the enemy. 1 point per wound inflicted. That's 5 more points. Didn't do any critical strikes. Didn't kill him. Didn't suffer an outburst. Didn't cheat. So you had 8 points.
Okay.
And then hold on. Well, that's only if person doesn't die. Like if it's not a duel to the death, I mean. That's how you score the duel, to find out if anybody actually won. So, if it was not a duel to the death, then
I would have 8 points.
You would have 8 points, and it would be a no contest. The character who won does not so much win the duel as demonstrate to onlookers that it was never even a contest. The winner is awarded glory equal to the opponent's glory rank.
Okay.
But the duel's not over because it was a duel to the death.
Yep.
So, how do we continue? I do not see anything in here. I guess we just go right back to the next person's turn and continue until somebody's dead. All right, so
It just says each character takes 1 turn each round in order of an initiative. The character with the higher initiative takes their turn, followed by the character with lower initiative. If the characters are tied, one with the honors first. A duel does not last a fixed number of rounds at the end of each round. If either character achieve their objective, the duel ends and proceeds to phase 3 resolution.
Okay, perfect.
So we're still not at phase 3 until somebody gets to the
achieves their objective. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So, Haruma-san, do your worst. First, you need to choose your stance.
First, I choose my stance.
And
the stances only cover this round, right? So at end of round, they'll stop.
At the beginning of each turn, you choose your stance.
Okay. Oh, so should I have already chosen a stance?
No, because your turn just started.
Beginning of your turn. I just wanted to clarify. I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna go for air stance.
Okay.
Increase the target number of attack and scheme. That's actually. I'm gonna go for fire stance. Since it's gonna not carry over. If I succeed, I increase my degrees of success by 1 for each strife.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The downside is I've only got 1 fire. So the roll's not going to be great.
Okay, you
Oh,
got
yeah.
a 6 on the fire, so that's a
That's an
critical
opportunity
success.
with strife.
4 on the d12.
That's a success.
But I only get to keep 1. And I need 2 successes against him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 6 isn't a critical?
No, the 6 is an opportunity. I'm going by the breakdown of the dice the posted. We're supposed to just count down, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, it's an opportunity with strife.
Okay.
The 2 is a success. 3 is a success with strife. 4 is a explosion with strife. 5 is opportunity. 6 is opportunity with strife.
Gotcha.
And then the D12 is the one that actually has explosion without strife. But
Oh.
I haven't gotten that yet.
Right. Okay.
So you actually failed in your roll.
Yep.
So there's no attack on your part. So then we go back to the stare down. No, right? Back to the stare down or back to the beginning? Let's see. At the start of each round, you just go to the stare down part. That's what it says. Each character
Okay.
may bid strife to increase their initiative value for that round. So yeah, we go back to the stare down and bidding of strife.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So Jackalope that time bid 0. So his initiative total is 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then Aislinn bid 4. So I believe his initiative total is now 8.
7.
7. Okay. Either way, you get to go first this turn.
Alrighty then.
So your first thing is
I
to
will-
choose your stance.
Dance of Earth.
Which is a good choice because that'll not only makes it harder for him to hit you, hit you badly, but it also allows you to roll more on your attack because you're using Earth this time.
I get to keep 3 dice, but the really nice thing is he can't use opportunity against me.
Right.
So take that. Let's see. Target roll.
Take that, you pacifist phoenix.
Intriguing. I'm gonna go for strike again, I think.
Okay.
So it's gonna be 3d6 and 1d12. Yeah, entertainingly enough, I have higher points in almost every single non-weapon skill.
Definitely not normal Hida.
4, 6, and 5. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's an explosion with strife. opportunity with strife and a opportunity. And the 5 will yield you a success with opportunity.
Okay.
So it's
What
two
was the 4
successes
5?
you rolled, right? So that's 2 successes and an opportunity.
So he has to. You got to re-roll that 4. So you re-roll 1d6. Roll it again. Okay, and that's a blank. So with that d4, rolled explosion with strife. You rolled another explosion with strife, and then you rolled a blank.
So basically, it's only worth 2 strife.
2
Uh,
strife and 2
two,
successes, right?
Oh,
two
right.
strife,
The
two
explosions are a
successes.
success, right?
Right. The 6 is an opportunity
Yeah.
in strife, and the 5 is just an opportunity. And on that d12 that you rolled, it's a success with an opportunity. So you actually rolled 1, 2,
4
3
successes
success, 4 successes. Yeah,
with an opportunity.
yeah.
Right, so let's go back to
Nice.
the opportunities
And
for.
I get 2 more stress.
You know what? I'm going to go to the skills part this time to see what kind of opportunities you have in this particular skill instead of just doing the base opportunities.
Is it 4 successes or 3?
You rolled a
1,
success,
2.
exploded into a success. You're at 3. You're right.
Yeah. Okay.
My bad.
It's all good. We're all learning here. We're all learning how to
All
interpret
right.
the
6
chicken
and 5 are
intros.
both an opportunity. It's just that the 6 also includes a stress.
Right. So
Right.
you
All
don't
right.
get that one because you're not going to take that one. You can just take
Right. We'll just take
straight
the straight up
opportunity.
opportunity.
And then with your D12, you got a success with an opportunity. So there you go. Like there's no reason to take the strife on this one.
Yeah.
So the martial skill opportunities on this is sheath a readied weapon with an opportunity. That's your any. Earth is ignore the effects of difficult terrain. So neither one of those really does anything. So if we go to our basic opportunities with Earth, we've got choose one character in the scene per opportunity spent. That character removes 2 strife.
I have 2 opportunity?
Just 1, I think. 3 successes
One?
and 1 opportunity.
Okay. Yeah, I'll drop my. Sorry?
Yes, 2. You have 2.
Okay. I'll drop my strife by 4 then. Because I was getting slightly close to my composure.
Well, you only drop it by 2 because you only had 1 opportunity. Choose 1 character in the scene, and for each opportunity, remove 2 strife.
Yeah. Well, no, the 5 on the D6 and the 5 on the D12 both give opportunity.
Oh, so you did have 2 opportunities. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry about
yeah.
that. My bad. So then, yeah, you can drop 4. I misheard.
Nope, no problem.
All right, so back to our.
It's easy to lose track.
And I'm also jumping back and forth in the rules here to make sure that I'm understanding everything and trying to look at all the different tables and stuff.
Yep.
Right,
Yeah,
so,
I'm not lying. I won't lie. I'm half tempted to actually go get my phone and download the app.
I downloaded it, but I haven't rolled it yet because I haven't been rolling anything.
I think I'm going to do that. It's only $5.
Yeah.
So my focus on the last couple of weeks.
So that would
I can
be
roll
6
all this
damage he
stuff
did
for
to you.
if you want.
Of course, I also
Okay.
just spent $120 on L5R cards. So each.
So that's 6 wounds.
Yep.
Do I armor absorb anything?
Oh, good point. Let's just say we're not wearing armor. Just make it easier.
Okay, yeah.
Because we didn't have him
Yep.
take it off of his before.
Yep.
And it's a
6
duel,
wounds.
so you probably wouldn't be wearing armor in a duel anyway.
Right.
And you're both still
just
alive, so now it's your turn.
Okay, I am going to my water stance. I'm going to enter my water stance, and I am going to do
So
an
glad
attack.
we didn't do it. I was thinking about doing that.
So that's gonna be the same roll I just did. 2 for my martial arts melee, 3 for my water ring, and so that's gonna be roll. Okay, that didn't roll all of them. So tap everything. Roll. Okay. So you explode. You explode. Okay. So I have one. I keep three. So 1, 2. Okay, those two exploded. They exploded into that. So I have 5 successes, 5 strife. Is that right? How much? Oh, let me see how much strife I have. I can't do that. So we'll have 4 success. I don't want to do that either. Okay. I'll take 2 success because they explode. Okay, so I'm gonna do 3 successes with 3 strife, and use 1 opportunity. 3 successes for 3 strife, and use 1 opportunity to take off 2 strife. So that means I only gain 1 strife, and I have 3 successes.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's makes the TN 1 extra success. For my damage it's 5, right? Katana 4.
4.
4, so it's gonna be 5 with the extra hit.
And that's what you did to me the first time also, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm at my resilience, so that's what we're going up towards, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Resilience,
so I'm at resilience.
is. Let's see what happens when you hit that.
And as I did that, I yelled out, "Foolish crab! Do you not know the river cuts through the earth?" And I just slice.
Okay, it's when they when it exceeds your resilience, you suffer a critical strike with severity equal to the deadliness of the source. So you haven't exceeded it yet.
Okay.
But the next time you
Okay.
exceed it, you will take a critical strike of 4,
Okay.
which will then give you a condition.
All right. So back to the stare down.
Yep, back to the stare down.
Okay.
Bid again. Okay, we got our bids in. Flying Jackalope bid 2, and Aisling bid 4.
Why you gotta cut me like that?
Puts me at 8.
That puts him at 8 too, right?
7.
Oh, puts you at 7. Okay, so yep,
Yeah.
you beat him.
All right.
Oh wait, no, it's focus plus however many successes I got on the meditation roll, right?
Yes.
So actually, yeah, it is. I have 4, so that does put both of us at 8.
All right, let's see if there's
My
anything
focus is a 3.
on the initiative for ties.
Ties go to the crab. Pretty sure that's the rule.
I think the rules actually ties go to the lion, but there's no lion in this, so let's see who actually gets the tie.
Ties go to the lion because they're too impetuous.
Oh, so that's something I missed before. Is in the assess the scene portion, you can actually not make the assessment check and take off 3 strife instead. I did not know that. Missed that when we started the
Oh,
duel.
interesting.
But you didn't have any strife when we began the duel anyway.
Yeah, we didn't have any strife to begin with, so.
Yeah. There is nothing in here about Tide.
No, that would make sense. I always find it amusing that so many game developers miss this sort of what to me would seem, when it comes up at least, such an obvious question. And it's not even just like RPG designers, it's board game people too. You know?
Let's do this. Flying Jackalope, you used water last round, right?
Yeah.
And then Aisling used earth. Go ahead and roll those. And whoever has the most number of successes will go first.
Just a water ring, straight water ring?
Yep.
Okay.
Or no, take that back. Let's just use those numbers. Well, wait. Do you have a water ring of 3?
Yeah.
Okay, then I know he has a earth ring of 3. So yeah, roll it.
I got 1 success. I technically got 1 of each, minus the explosion. 1 success, 1 opportunity, 1 strife.
I got 3 successes. Well, 1 explosion, 3 successes.
Okay, so there you go. Jackalope goes first.
Show off.
I'm liking the dice app. It helps. It helps so much.
It really does. I might, if I had any chance of actually playing the Star Wars one, I might buy that too. But
really quick. Hold on. Let me see if that. No, you know what? That wouldn't have worked because I used my opportunity to take off strife. All right. Back to the actual attack. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna I'm gonna do it again. But I'm gonna go into my void stance just to try to avoid any more strife. So that's 2 melee,
you have a 3 water. What's your void?
3
Wow.
Everything else at
Actually,
1.
2 threes. Very nice.
air 1, earth 2, fire 1, water 3, void 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got
You
2, 3, 1, 2, 2.
Yeah, you should have 2 at 3, and then 2 at 1, and 1 at 2.
Yep, I have the same thing.
No, actually, I've only got 1, 1, but I've only got 1, 3 also. My character ended up a little more balanced.
Right. Because of families and stuff. Like you took Haruma. If you took Hida, you'd probably be the same as us.
Earth 3.
Yeah.
Alright.
Actually, if I had taken Hida, some of my later choices would have been completely worthless.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna roll now.
That's actually, I'm thinking about that. That's actually really unfortunate because if you've got an actual Hida defender, you waste a point. That's 4 Earth right there. You get 1 Earth for being Crab, 1 for being Hida, and 1 for being a defender.
Wow. I only got the 1 success. It was an explosion, but only 1 success and 2 opportunity. All of them had strife, but since I'm in the void stance, nothing goes through.
Actually, it wouldn't be wasted. There is a rule that says anytime something would take you over the 3, apply it to something else.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So in that
that's
case, you
fine.
would apply it to a different ring.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. That doesn't bother me. If it just vaped, I would be annoyed.
Yeah, I remember reading that because it was in the part that I read. It was actually specifically about skills, but I'm sure it applies to everything else. I'm sure it's a blanket rule.
Well, I think when you're at the very beginning of when it talks about void, that's the first thing it tells you. It's like you can't go past 3, so if you can't choose something at that point if it's gonna go past 3. I think.
Yeah, that's reasonable. But as I was saying earlier, it's all too often that I've seen designers just not think of that.
Yeah, and then it just goes away.
Yeah, it's like similarly, if a choice would result in a skill rising above rank 3 during character creation, then you must choose a different skill that is not already at rank 3 or higher to increase instead.
Yeah, that's what I had read is the skill part. But like I said, I'm sure it's ring 2.
Yeah.
It would only make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I will put that in the notes, though.
It says the same thing for the ring right before it.
Oh, it does.
You
Okay.
cannot raise a ring or skill above rank 3 during character creation. If a choice would result in a ring rising above 3 during character creation, you must choose a different ring to increase instead, as long as the ring would also not be increased above rank 3.
Got it. Okay, that makes more sense then. All right. So now that I'm done digressing, what was your roll again?
1 success, 2 opportunity, no strife. So no, they didn't make it to the end.
Didn't make it. Okay. So that means, you have to keep 2 dice though. So which one are you keeping? How many opportunity?
Me, I keep 3 dice, so as I'm keeping 2 opportunity.
Okay.
So yeah,
and you did this with.
you could actually. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I was gonna say you did this with water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Remove 2 strife per opportunity spent. You can take 4 strife off if you'd like.
Yep. That's gonna be I guess with dueling and battles in general, or conflicts in general, because I'm sure it's the same thing with
Yeah.
intrigue and all that. It's
Well,
just
these are
gonna
all
be a
basic opportunity options. These aren't specific to duels.
yeah.
Yeah, there's several ways or to spend those opportunities. Like the ring gives some, the skill itself gives some, the action you're kind of in, I think, gives some, right?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
so and there's that's another thing is they're spread out everywhere. They need to
Oh
have
god, I
like
hate that,
a
man.
table and like an index or something that puts them all together.
That was why
Mhm.
4E D&D needed the character generators because everything was spread through like 18 books.
Right.
5E's getting that way too.
Bloat.
Yeah, well, because they keep adding stuff through Unearthed Arcana, which is the web thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love me more options. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, but sometimes it goes a little bit much. I mean, like
yeah,
that's one of the reasons why I stopped playing Pathfinder. Is I got sick of when I was running a game going, no, I'm not dealing with all those books. I don't want to have to buy that book. I don't care if you own the book.
yeah,
Well, that's like, I guess that's the good part about. I don't know if PFS did it, but DDAL does. You can only use max 2 books, so it's like you have to use the player's handbook, and at max you can use, one of the other splat books, Volo's Guide to Monsters, the Unearthed Arcana, Elemental Evil, whatever. Like,
Oh, I didn't realize they had that restriction.
right, so it's
I
not
didn't either, and
like
I mean that must came in after I stopped running PFS because they didn't have that when I was running PFS.
Well,
right,
no,
and
this is for
so
Adventurer League.
right,
Oh,
this for Adventures League, and so at like in my case, I would probably do the same thing at my table if I was running, something that wasn't Adventures League. I would just say, you know what, you got the player's handbook, and you can pick one of the other splat books to choose from for your character. You know, so you can say, I
that
want
makes
to pick a
complete
race
sense.
from.
I
Yeah,
very much like that idea.
yeah.
I might have still kept running a Pathfinder if I would have thought of that.
I just buy Hero Lab.
Well, I had Hero Lab, but like, and that was fine for me making characters. But in terms of GMing a game, like somebody would
Yeah,
go, "Oh, well, I
that
have this feat. I don't know what that feat is. Where did that come from? How does that work? I've never heard of it. What book is it in? Let me see the book. I need to read it." It got annoying.
yeah, that's the nice thing. Character creation, sidewise, like you were saying, of Hero Lab is that you've got all of those books basically at your fingertips. I can't even imagine making a Shadowrun character without it at this point.
I mean, when I was running Pathfinder, I had it easy because it was can't remember. It was kind of like a humble bundle kind of thing that
Right.
somebody was running. They don't do it anymore, but I think it was like loot something, not loot crate, but it was like loot bundle or something. Anyway, it was very early on of Hero Lab. You could get it for like half price. I think it was like $20 to buy Hero Lab. And since you get 2 licenses with it, I split it with another friend. So he got a
Yep.
license and I got a license. I paid $10. He paid $10.
That's what a couple of our players do.
But the great part about that is I ended up never having to buy the extra books because he kept buying them. You're the extra add-ons to the Hero Lab for all the extra books.
That's what my
So
brother keeps. We bought an extra license for him because I put it on my computer and my laptop, and then we bought an extra license. I think it's like $10 for him.
yep.
I've been buying all the all the Shadowrun 5e books, So he just gets it for free basically. But
Heck, it
it's
seemed
all
like
good.
every time I logged in, there was another book in there that I didn't have to buy, and now I have that access to that. So it was great.
Woo-hoo.
When I stopped playing Pathfinder, I went ahead and gave him my license because I'm like, I don't care about it anymore. No
Yeah.
sense in losing it. He gave me $10 for giving
There
the
you go.
license back. All right, take it. Anyway, now we're back to Aislin's turn for this round.
Yep. Let's see. I'm gonna stick with Earth Stance
Gonna
since it has done so well for me.
heat a smash. Well, actually,
3D stick.
in this
and a
case, it's a very great idea because if he does damage to you on his next turn, you're gonna automatically take a critical. So if he can't spend opportunities to get another critical, that's going to very much help you. So yes, Earth Stance would be a very good idea.
Okay. One of my dice exploded, but I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with it now.
You have to
Which
reroll
got a
it.
little red box around it.
Oh, that means it's not going to reroll.
Oh, okay.
It has, if it has a white circle around it, that it'll reroll. So you want to put reds around everything you don't want to reroll.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it took me a minute to figure that out.
Yeah, on the. So when you see an you're using the dice app, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you see one that explodes, like the little, the three little tadpoles following each other,
Yep.
there's at the top. There's gonna be like an actual explosion icon. You would click that, and another dice is gonna pop in.
Oh. I didn't see that either.
It took me a while to figure that out.
I see a star and a cube, so the star is the explosion? When I click on it?
The star.
It didn't come up automatically.
Give me a second.
I've only worked in the tech industry for a combined period of about 10 years.
Hey guys, sorry about that.
Okay.
I thought, I'm actually gonna go to dinner right now.
That's all right.
That's right.
Yeah.
We at least got to play around with the dual mechanics a little bit. So,
Okay, yeah. It's the button I thought it was. When it's red, you click on that die, and you get a couple more icons up at the top. One of them is a 8-pointed star kind of burst thing. You click on that, and that's what you were talking about. You get that extra die popping out.
Right.
Oh, I did really well. Wow. Well, I two successes. I gotta keep that one. And I want that one. So that one. So 2 successes, 2 opportunities, and 3 strife.
wow.
So not bad.
No.
Not bad at all.
So that means you can pretty much do a critical strike on him with the 2 opportunities, I believe.
Oh yeah. Because if he's gonna get the same, well, no, I mean it would be 4 wounds. So that would put me at my. That would put me at my resilience, and at that point you can use the opportunities, I guess, to finish the strike.
Finish him.
Which is a staggering strike. The character suffers a following condition based on the thing, so you'd be immobilized.
Aw.
And immobilized, let me look at that real quick, and then you can go to dinner. Immobilized is character cannot perform movement actions or otherwise reposition themselves during their turn, and they cannot select a different stance during their turn. At the end of their turn, if you did not perform a movement action, or you can remove the immobilized condition. So basically, that doesn't really do much for you in terms of a duel, though. But
Right, because
it's not moving around
like
anyway.
already went. All right.
So thanks for coming and checking this out, and I hope you have a good dinner.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you for
Thank you very much.
running the beta.
No
Really
problem at
learned.
all. Thank you.
All right, guys. You have a good one. Bye.
Have a good one. All right, I'll log off of.
All right. And thank you for listening. If you listened in with us today, if you have any questions or if you noticed anything that I screwed up, just feel free to let me know. Have a good day.